On this episode of the MHM Social, I chat to former cruiserweight champion of the world, Tony Bellew. Tony, thanks for joining me today, mate. Taking the time. Got you off the exercise bike. You've been putting in a bit of effort there, haven't you, pal?
I have, mate. Absolute pleasure to join you as always. I've been working hard, mate. Trying my best to stay in some kind of shape that doesn't involve being round or getting rounder than I already am. So I'm just cracking on, mate, and I'm happy. I can't complain. You know, there's people in much worse situations than me at the minute.
Yeah, definitely.
And although times have been difficult, you've just got to keep cracking on.
Yeah, definitely. And with that in mind, with you keeping in shape, I want to start by going back a couple of months to the Usyk and Chisora fight. And anyone who was watching that night could hear you the loudest in the crowd shouting and screaming. And, you know, I was just going to ask you, I know you're great friends with Dereck, and I know you've been friends for a long time. And when I heard you being that passionate about it and almost living the fight, was that you just being a good friend, or was that you thinking, I wish I was in there, I know how to beat this man?
No, just purely as a friendship thing. When it comes to Dereck, we're close friends. I don't have many close friends left in the boxing world anymore, and there's not many guys out there who openly supported me from the boxing world when I was fighting. Dereck was always there in my biggest fights, right by my side, screaming and shouting for me, and I'm a loyal person. I repay what you do for me, I do for you. So it was just one of them nights. I got reprimanded and told off by Sky for me shouting and stuff, but you know, don't employ me for the fights where my friends are fighting it if that's not what you want. I can be the most professional person in the world when I want to be, and I can be, you know, emotionless on fights, but you can't ask for one of the closest people I've had to me in boxing over the last decade, fighting a man who I've fought, who I know inside and out, and not expect me to cheer and shout for them. So it is what it is, mate. I'm not really that bothered about being told off, and it doesn't really concern me that much anymore. So it is what it is. I'll just keep going. I'll always support Dereck regardless of the atmosphere, regardless of the environment, and regardless of the opponents. I will always support Dereck Chisora.
That's superb stuff. And you are real, mate. No one can say you're not real. You could hear that night, definitely.
Try to, mate. You try to.
We'll go on and talk a little bit about Usyk. We'll talk a little bit about Chisora first. How many fights do you think he's got left in him? I think he accounted himself very well. He's had this kind of renaissance period in his career, and I think all the fans like him. Do you think he should keep going on, keep looking for big fights?
I don't see why not. It's a terrible style for him to face an Alexander Usyk, an all-mover who's slick, is stronger than he looks. He hits harder than people think. He hits hard enough to make you think twice about just steaming into him. And just a really tough opponent. I think for Dereck going forward, he needs to face people who want to engage with him, who want to play his game, and that will be the way going forward. But then, you know, if people do want to engage and play Dereck's game, that means it's going to be a damaging fight and a hard fight for him. So how many more of them can you have? I don't know, but as I said before, Dereck's a man who when his back's against the wall, he always comes out and he always comes up trumps. And he was very unfortunate in the Alexander Usyk fight. He just came up against a better boxer and a better mover on the night, and just someone who performed, as he always does, consistently brilliant. That's what Alexander Usyk is. Yeah. He finds a way, he navigates his way around the opponent. He has a good look. He starts slow as usual, and then he works it out, and then he goes through the motions, and his skill set is unbelievable. So, you know, he was the winner on the night. I never once said that he didn't win the fight. I just wanted transparency from judges, which we should want throughout the whole of the sport. You can't have one judge having it all the way up here, another judge having it here, another judge having it down here. So we just want transparency. I want the judges to all be seeing the same thing, really, because it's not hard to separate a boxing match. You know, it's not rocket science. It's not, you know, I'm not saying, you know, this was a fight where one judge has it 117, 112, another one has it 115, 113. Yeah. That's just not realistic.
We see it way too much. That's the thing. We see it way too much. I agree with you. I mean, I don't think there was an argument for him winning that fight, but like you say, you just want a little bit of consistency across the board. Yeah, just definitely.
A bit of transparency, and that's what we're lacking. And that's, you know, if we can have a bit of transparency in the judges, and I think the WBC was brilliant with what they'd done, opening the judges' scorecards after 6 rounds of a contest. I don't think it suits in every fight, but I think it was a positive step forward, so we can judge and analyse what they're seeing so early on. and it lets us know, that these are seen it the right way. But over the years, some of the cards that have come out are absolutely ludicrous. I mean, I remember when Canelo faced Mayweather and one of the judges had it a draw. It was just a complete shutout. There's other, examples I could make going back over the years. It's criminal at times. It really is. I mean, the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder first fight, it's unexplainable how that judge has it the way he has it, and there's various other ones as well, as I say. But the only way we'll get rid of this is if we're prodding at these judges and also reprimand them when they make mistakes. Make them pay for the mistakes, because everybody's quick to reprimand the boxer when he makes a mistake. If he says the wrong thing, if he does the wrong thing, the boxers are punished quite severely from the sanctioning bodies, from the governing bodies, from the jurisdictions that are in place. They're always punished. So I've seen various fighters punished for things they've said on social media. I've never once seen a boxing official punished. Never once, for a terrible card. And that tells you all you need to know, in my opinion, of, this isn't as clean cut as it should be.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair point. Really fair point. But I'll go on to Usyk, and you touched on it there. I go back to your fight, and I don't want to go over the past and stuff, but I've said to you before, I was watching that, and I just felt that you was totally in control. Yes, there was a little bit of he susses you out, and he kind of watches you before he kind of acts. But you go into that fight, you're in control. What happens, and he beats you, and you see that against Chisora as well. It's kind of like, is he actually underrated? Everyone's talking about him at the moment as a person who can challenge Fury, can challenge Joshua, and I look at it and I'm not sure he can, just purely because of his size. I think he's a great boxer, but I think so is Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury is probably 5 inches, taller than him in the weight advantage. But is he underrated? Is he that good? Can he challenge them?
Of course he can challenge them, and he will pose them many problems. I think the only thing that's going to beat Alexander Usyk, in my opinion, is size. So I don't think someone's going to outbox him. I don't think somebody's going to be able to be a better fighter than him. I just think size will determine how he does in the heavyweight division. So I think he beats everyone besides the two monsters. Yeah, I really do. It's a hard one, as I say. Sort of fighting someone like Tyson Fury, he would literally make it so awkward for Alexander Usyk. He would bring him into a place where he's just not comfortable, where he could not perform. Someone of that size and of that, the frame of Tyson Fury, he could make it so difficult just by taking centre ring and bringing Alexander Usyk to him, which he would do. I wouldn't be so stupid and naive to think that he's going to start chasing Alexander Usyk around the ring, because he could be led a merry dance. He could be made to look stupid. On the other hand, Anthony Joshua would chase him around the ring. But Anthony Joshua has the size and the athletic ability to make up the space that you'd need to make up against someone like Alexander Usyk, whereas Fury is so much bigger, so much heavier. I believe he would bring Alexander Usyk to him. Yeah. So as I said before, styles do make fights. I think they're the only two guys that can beat him, if I'm being totally honest. I think the other guys in the division, he's just too good of a boxer, and he's too good at what he does. Like I said, I have no excuses, and people will look back at my fight and say, no, you were winning, going into that 8th round, you were ahead and stuff. Yeah, it was ahead and it was going great, but I got stopped and I was exhausted, mate, after 7 rounds. So he's the best fighter I ever faced. He's exceptional at what he does. No excuses on my behalf. I rate him unbelievably. And what makes it even worse is what a great fella as well.
Yeah, he does seem that way
as well. So yeah, mate, he's a diamond, and I only wish him well. I'd love to see him capture a version of the heavyweight title, but I just think the guys who are reigning supreme at the moment are just too big and too powerful, and that is Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Anybody else, I mean, if you stuck him in with someone like Deontay Wilder, I believe you made Deontay Wilder would not touch him.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
He would not catch him. And people will say, well, Deontay Wilder's massive. Yes, he is massive, but he's massive and he's clueless. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua are two totally different specimens, two totally different guys, and approaching in a different way. Anthony Joshua is a former Olympic gold medalist. His boxing pedigree is there for everyone to see. He'd be able to figure things out quicker than most. His reason that Anthony Joshua's been able to progress so fast the way he has year after year after year is because of the things he's done outside of the ring for the class of sparring, all them years in the amateur system, the GP setup. With Tyson Fury, it's literally been, he's been fighting for so long, he's had a level, he's learned the game inside out, he knows everything there is to know. Anthony Joshua is still a work in progress, by the way. There's still a place he can go. I would say he's about 70 to 80% of his full potential, whereas Tyson Fury's at the top of his game. He's at the height of his. He's not going to get any better at what he does. The only thing Tyson Fury's going to do is manage his fights better, learn how to pressure fighters, sitting down on his punches a bit more. He could do that in the past, but he's only choosing to show it now. He did in that Deontay Wilder rematch. So fascinating going forward, mate. I wish them all well. They're all brilliant fighters in their own right. But I believe that's the best 3 heavyweights in the world we're talking about there. I think Dillon White pushes them very close, but he's got a mountain to climb in the Alexander Povetkin rematch.
That seemed to knock him back, didn't it? I mean, everyone, you talk about Dillon White, everyone, including me, was just sort of looking at that and going, he's got to get his shot. He's probably the most consistent performer at the moment. Keeps doing it. Goes in against Povetkin, completely outboxes him for a few rounds, just looks in complete control. Has him down twice, then one punch and he's gone. I mean, that's a heavyweight division. But now you're looking at it and think, well, Povetkin all of a sudden looks a threat. And, he needs to now beat him convincingly and get himself back up there to challenge those guys.
He does, but you just, as I say, it's so hard. Dillon White was one punch away from doing the exact same to Povetkin, what Povetkin done to him. And as we've touched up on there, it is the heavyweight division. But I believe Dillon White wins the rematch, but then you have to look at which way is Dillon White going to attack the heavyweight division. His promoter Eddie Hearn has already came out and said he believes that the winner of Povetkin and Dillon White, which he believes will be White, should face Deontay Wilder. So straight away, they're throwing it at each other, and I'm sure Dillon doesn't want that fight because Dillon wants his shot at the title. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, he's not going to get the shot at the title straight away because he's just come back off a loss. And then yes, if he beats Povetkin, I understand what in Dillon's mindset what he'll be going through. He'll be thinking, I've reversed that first fight, but it still actually happened. So you can't just bounce and beat Povetkin and expect the world title fight to be straight after. I would say there's going to have to be another fight in the in-between. Yeah. And that also frees up then Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury to have this mega battle that we all need to see them have because British boxing needs it and everyone wants to see it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the thing is with Deontay Wilder, he's kind of the no-win for everyone. You talk about White Wilder, that's a fight I'd absolutely love to see. I'd love to see Ruiz Wilder or Ruiz White because I think it'd be exciting fights. But I can't see anyone wanting to go in with Deontay Wilder because, yes, he's not. It's easy for me to say this, by the way, but he's not a great boxer, and everyone in that division can outbox him at the top level. But one punch and you're gone. And you look at your career could be over with a fight with Deontay Wilder.
Looking at his style-wise, he's easily the most beatable.
Yeah.
When you look at him of how far behind technically he is than all the other fights in the heavyweight division, he's miles behind. His boxing technique is awful. But you have to, it weighs it up then when you talk about how powerful he is with that right hand.
Yeah.
He's a one-trick pony, but mate, it's a hell of a trick. That trick catches you, you wake up in an ambulance, and that's just the bottom line, the hard truth of it all. So there's not going to be a big Q wanting to face Deontay Wilder. But at the same time, your big boys in the division will not shy away from. So your Dillon Whites will want it.
Yeah.
Your Alexander Usyks will want it. I would think someone, styles do make fights. I would believe someone like a Joseph Parker, someone like a Andy Ruiz, they wouldn't want a piece of Deontay Wilder because they know at some point he is going to cop them. Whereas the other guys are so confident now in every division, they've defeated such great fighters that they're like, I can deal with them.
Yeah,
I don't know Usyk's look on all of how he's doing it. He did tell me personally that he wants to face the biggest and the best, and I was like, you must be mad. But yeah, that's what he wants to do, and he 100 genuinely believes he's going to beat them all. Yeah. He believes he is the best of the lot of them, and I understand why he thinks that because he's never tasted defeat in the professional game, but he's also never faced anyone of that size. And with also the biggest part and parcel of all this is, it's not just it's someone with the athletic ability that the likes of Fury and AJ actually have. Fury moves like a light heavyweight at times.
It's that natural size, right? You're a big fella. We're 6'3", 6'4", and you stand in front of someone who's 6'9" and naturally carrying about 18, 19 stone. It's like standing in front of a monster, isn't it? It's like
it. You know what the mad part is, Mike? It's not the fact that he stood in front. It's actually when he gets hold of you. So you've got to get in distance to hit him. And when this guy can stand nearly a foot away from you and he can hit you, but you can't hit him, that poses so many problems. So, you know, yes, he'll have some advantages going in being the smaller man that Fury has to punch down and reach towards him, but ultimately you're faced with so many tough obstacles to get through that it looks nearly impossible.
Yeah.
It really does, facing someone like Fury, because I don't see him putting Fury out with one punch. I don't really see him hurting Tyson Fury. I see him being able to sting the odd fighter now and again, catching you with the pure speed of the shot, but I don't see him being able to hit you and put you on the floor. And I don't see him doing that to either Joshua or Fury. So it just leads you to believe that you have to think that, how is he going to beat them? How is he going to dictate a pace to someone like Tyson Fury? How is he going to dictate the range to someone like Tyson Fury? The fact of the matter is, I don't think he's going to be able to. And with someone like Joshua consistently hunting you down, someone who's every bit as quick as you, someone who's even more powerful than you, how are you going to keep him off? Because Joshua does not stop, and he's probably the best finisher in the heavyweight division. When he gets a fighter hurt, he takes them out. He does not wait, he does not miss, he just goes right through you. So, as I say, so many problems, so many obstacles, but listen, stranger things would have happened if he beats the two of them. So, you know, Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson at 49-1.
Exactly. And that brings me to what I was going to ask you next. I think we could talk a bit about Joshua Fury as an individual fight, but I'm going to answer the question in a different way. We spoke there about probably all the best heavyweights. I think there's going to be some great fights ahead this year. I think the fact that we've missed out on a little bit of boxing because of what's going on in the world means we're going to get everything a bit quicker. When the dust settles at the end of this year, or maybe the middle of next year, and all these guys have fought each other, who's standing there as the king, as the heavyweight king, holding all the belts, in your opinion?
I've always said it from day one. I think Tyson Fury is, at this moment in time, is the best heavyweight in the world, but I just think Anthony Joshua has the style to beat him. The only way to beat Tyson Fury is to jump on his chest and not care what's coming back. And I think the only heavyweight good enough technically and athletically to get there and reach him and stay there is Anthony Joshua. I think Anthony Joshua will not be scared to jump in. I get an awful lot of comments through social media saying, well, Deontay Wilder couldn't do it. Deontay Wilder couldn't do it because his footwork is horrendous.
Yeah.
You know, if you can get there, it's been proven before, if you can get to Tyson Fury and get close to him, you can hurt him, you can put him on the floor. The likes of Steve Cunningham have put him on the floor before. He's been put on the floor by Deontay Wilder a couple of times. And as I say, Steve Cunningham is a similar frame and build and has that explosiveness like Anthony Joshua, but just without the final big punch.
Yeah.
And as I say, people will say, oh, you're dragging it way far back. It's not about how far back, it's purely based on styles make fights.
Yeah.
And that is an opportunity that I think Anthony Joshua will not let up. I think he will get close to Anthony, he will get close to Tyson Fury, and he will hit him clean. And when he does, he will not let him off the hook like Deontay Wilder. He is not someone who will gas completely when he gets his man hurt like Deontay Wilder did. I think we've seen answers to the Fury fight in the Pulev fight a little bit. I'm a massive believer in that when Fury and AJ do finally meet, it has to be over within 6 rounds for Tyson, for Anthony Joshua. I believe if it goes past 6, I don't see him beating him.
It's going to be so exciting. We've literally got
massive.
Maybe the best heavyweight division we've had in a long, long time, and I can't wait to see who is going to be the king of it at the end. But we'll move on to football, actually, mate. And I want to talk to you a little bit about Everton. And I'm going to go back to the beginning of the season where I'm driving along. You come on the radio. I can't remember if it was Jim White or Big Al. And you're on there talking about Everton. And you're saying, with Ancelotti in charge, the players we've signed, we're going to finish in the top 4. And I've nearly crashed the car. I've got back control. And I was going to text you and say, what's going on? But, you know, you could prove me wrong. They are performing really, really well. I mean, I bet you've been enjoying watching it.
It's been brilliant. Carlo Ancelotti's been a breath of fresh air. He's been the best thing that's happened to my club in a decade. It's just the level of professionalism he's brought in, the way the lads are gelling together, the performances. It's just been great to see. So I'm really, really happy. Long may it continue. I'm not going to get ahead of myself as I sometimes do when the results are really going well. We've had a few weeks off because we haven't been able to play. So let's just see where it goes. You know, we've signed genuine world-class players.
Yeah, you have.
James Rodriguez wears an Everton shirt, mate. we have an audience in Colombia watching us that we've never seen before. There's millions of people in Colombia wanting to tune into the Everton games. So it's great to see. It's nice to be a part of, but ultimately we've just got to slow down, take our time, and and see where it leads. You know, it is exciting, and it
stand by that.
Absolutely brilliant.
Stand by that top 4 comment, or is it gone top 6 now, or top 8?
I still stand by it, because you know, if we perform and we do the job we're supposed to do, I think we can get in there. Yeah. Especially the way the season's going, everyone's beating everyone. You know, it's not like, I don't know if I can see any team going on like a 10-game running win spree. You know, I just don't think, I can't see it. It's not like last year where Liverpool were just beating everyone week in, week out. You know, there's injuries have been a massive factor in Liverpool, but they've also been a massive factor for all the teams. We've had various injuries. All the big clubs have had big injuries, so I don't want to be drawn upon that, because I'm sick of hearing the excuses from all the other fans and all the other clubs. The thing that's impressed me most is that just the fight in the players.
I want to move on and chat a little bit about what I saw this morning. You've got a book coming out. Everyone's got a plan till they get punched in the face. Is that right? Is that the title, or are you going for 12 things in the boxing ring?
I don't know, really. You know, we've put it out there and let it be known, but I've always liked everyone has a plan till they get punched in the face, because it's the most real saying that you could possibly get. I speak from experience. I've got in the ring many a time with a plan being punched on the chin and everything changes. So everyone goes on to me, that's Mike Tyson's quote, that's this, that's that. Well, in all honesty, it's not Mike Tyson's quote, because Joe the Brown Bomber Louis was using it way before Mike Tyson. So even though I idolise both fighters, especially Mike Tyson, you know, from my era, and I've always looked up to Mike Tyson, met him a couple of times, I just think it was an apt, you know, name for the book. But I don't, if it's going to be named, I don't know, but it's at the end of the day, it's grabbed attention so far. It's got it out there. So whatever it's going to be called, whether it's, you know, everyone's got a plan to get punched in the face, or 12 rounds with me, we'll get there in the end. But one thing I can say is I've put quite a lot of work into this book. It's not an autobiography where I explain my childhood and my life. This is more of a book about coping mechanisms of how I had to get through certain parts of my life that I did, managing, you know, becoming a world-class fighter with a family involved, and with so many other contributing factors as well, and how I managed to do that. It was really, really tough, mate. When I look back, I mean, life's been like a roller coaster, and I've never really, what's the word I'm looking for? I've never took the time to reflect. I've just done it. I've just kept going and going and going. And by doing this book, it was like a little bit of therapy, I suppose, because it gave me a chance to reflect on how far I've really come in life. Because I'm a kid who left school with no qualifications. I was expelled from school for, believe it or not, fighting. And I've never reflected on my life and thought, why did this happen, why that? And in doing the book, it's allowed me to do that, but it's also allowed me to break down the reasons why they happened, the reasons, the things that I've done to you know, to get where I've got, and how them mechanisms helped me get where I got and where I wanted to get. Because I was just a fat kid with a dream. That's the bottom line, mate. A fat kid with a dream, and I was laughed at from a very early age, called a liar. You're not going to do that. Don't be ridiculous. Them mechanisms that I employed and that I'd done got me to where I got, and it proved everyone wrong along the way. So
you've clearly used,
makes a good read.
Clearly used all that to the maximum of your advantage. And I've got to say something, my own experience with you. On the times that we've met and we've worked together, you are a gentleman. You can't hide that. You're a very nice guy. But you've also clearly got a scary side. And I remember I remember the first time before I'd actually met you and worked with you, we were sat next to each other at Everton, and the bloke he was with actually looked scarier than you, but that's another story. But I remember looking at you, I think it was for the Hay fight, and I was just going, he's not going to lose that fight because he just looks like an animal. But coming back to why I said that, you've often spoke about how you can switch on nastiness and a tougher side to get in the ring, and, you know, almost, you know, tap into your mental strength. Is that what this book is about? Is it looking to help people tap into that, and how people can take boxing lessons into getting through just the everyday troubles of the pandemic or their job, or just things they might be struggling with in the family?
We just look at, you know, certain scenarios I was placed in, and a lot of them are mental. You know, it's crazy because there's not much physical things that I can cross over to you, because what I've done physically, everything I've been able to put myself through physically, I've had to go through here first. If that makes sense. So it's not been like go to the gym. I've had to mentally want to get myself to the gym. I've had to mentally overcome tough times. You know, I've had to mentally find a way to keep going. You know, being broke, not being able to pay the mortgage because I've got a broken hand and I can't fight for 5 months. How do you work around that? the pressure it's putting on you mentally is just immense, and how do you work and navigate your way through it, and all them things come into the book. As I said before, everyone's struggling with mental stuff at the moment, and with their own mental health, and I don't want to be tapping on that door like everyone's doing. I feel like a lot of people are gaining things from mental health at the moment, and they're using it in the wrong way. My book is not about mental health. My book is showing you coping strategies of how I've worked out things, how I've got through tough times and moments. The mental health side of things, which I've got a family member going through a horrendous time at the moment, but that's a different side. I'm not a professional in mental health, and I'm not ever going to tell you that, you know, I've done this and I've been involved in it. No, because that's not me. What I've done is I've found a mechanism, I've found a way of working problems out without having to call on the medical help of professionals in mental health. So that's what I've done, mate. And I say this book will let people know how I've done that. And I definitely think there's an awful lot of ways in the book that people can relate to. You know, everyone's felt pressure in one way or another, whether that's mental pressure, whether that's financial pressure, whether that's pressure from work, relationships, whatever have your kids. But there's ways of dealing with it, there's ways of getting around it, and you know, I think I've done all right, mate, on what I've been asked of.
No, you've done good, pal. It's like you say, not everyone who wants to be better or wants to look at different ways to improve things has to be struggling in the first place. You know, I like the idea that you're saying, you know, it's not about saying I'm you know, I've got issues and stuff. It's you saying that this is how I cope with things, and this is me trying to help you in that way. No, it's good. I look forward to reading that, mate. And I want to also talk about a little bit about your initiative that you've started. And I know we're running out of time at the moment, but I want to urge everyone to go and have a look at that. It's Weapons Down, Gloves Up. And your aim is to get, is it 2,000 people back into work, or is it 200?
Yes. No, well, first of all, we're going to start with these first 50 guys, 50 people. And it's just a scheme that we're putting in place that's going to help people back into work. That's the most important thing for me. I don't gain anything financially from it. It's just about helping people, and there's so many people out there who need help at the moment. You know, in the pandemic that we're in, people are out of work, people are very sad, the mental health is at stake. I think this is going to be exercise also, you know, that'll be put into place, but also the massive part is taking part in the scheme and being part of this initiative. I guarantee you 100% at the end of it, there is a full-time job, and that is the only reason, Michael, I'm involved in this initiative. I've been asked to be involved in numerous academies over the years. I've been asked to start my own academy. But at every step that I've taken with these various academies, with these various incentives, not one of them has been able to say to me, I can guarantee a full-time job at the end of it. So each and every time I've been approached, I've rejected. This was the first time I've been approached, and there's a big company behind it, and the first thing they said was, we guarantee you every person who stays with this initiative, there's a full-time job at the end of it. And that is the main reason I'm involved in this. You know, they're not a full-time job and they're working for me, they're working for a big company. And, you know, we're hoping to get a lot more people into, you know, things like construction is at its all-time high now. Everybody's building something, everything's going up somewhere. And just getting people involved, and just getting people the help that they need, whether it's a job, whether it's, you know, health involved in it. The Weapons Down, Gloves Up initiative is for, it covers all ages, it covers all, you know, genders or whatever you want to call it. We're helping everyone we possibly can. This is not just going to be like what I've been approaching, the naughty kids in school. This is for adults, mate. This is for everybody who wants to better themselves, everybody who wants to get a full-time job, everybody who's involved, who wants to be involved in engineering in any way, shape or form. We're here to help them.
That's superb.
Back into work as possible.
It goes back to what I say about you being a top bloke, mate, and I wish you all the best of luck with that. Going to round up now, but before we go, thanks a lot for coming on. I want you to finish with telling me, you've had some great moments in your fighting career, winning the cruiserweight title, Goodison Park, the Hay fights, all the stuff before that. But I want to ask you, what's the moment since your career's ended when you've been sitting somewhere on a TV program or doing something or just anywhere where you've went, I can't believe me, Tony Bellew, you know, has done all this and I've ended up here. What's the moment that stands out to you?
Wow, never been asked that question. You know what, when I was in Philadelphia, I went to Philly to shoot the Rocky movie, to shoot Creed, and I was turned up and I was asked to do my screen test. I went in the December. I went for 2 weeks in December to learn the fight choreography. with Michael B. Jordan and see if I wanted to really do the part. It was just a test period I was there for. I'd got the part, I knew it, but if I didn't want to do it, this was my option to pull out and say no. So I went in 2 weeks in December after beating Nathan Cleverly in the rematch. And I remember doing the choreography. I'd been there for 2 days, and this day I'm doing my screen test. And I could hear people talking in the background, and that doesn't usually happen when someone's doing a screen test. It's just quiet and everything's done. And I comes out of my screen test, and I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting on a beanbag on the floor, and then I heard this commotion going on. And then I seen a guy come in and do his next screen test, and it was just Sylvester Stallone sitting there just doing a screen test, and he was just inciting poetry off the top of his head, his mind. He was talking and reading through it in his mind, and I remember just sitting there thinking, what am I doing here? How have I found myself here sitting in front of Rambo? And that's what was going through my mind, mate, and it still sticks with me to this day. And when he finished the screen test, the director, Ryan Coogler, brought him over to me, introduced him to me, at which point I nearly fumbled and called him Rock, which I didn't. I called him Mr. Stallone. He said, don't call me Mr. Stallone, call me Sly, we're friends, I'm a fan of yours, I've seen your career, you've been a brilliant fighter. He probably just humouring me, he probably never had a bleeding clue or what was in that movie.
I'm sure he did.
It was great, mate. It was great. And it just makes me look back and think, I've been in a Rocky movie, I've been in Creed, which is crazy. You know, such a successful movie, such a brilliant movie. Thank you to Ryan Coogler, how I was there and how I done it. But yeah, that's the moment where I think to myself, how have I got here?
Superb. Now, as I say, couldn't happen to a nicer bloke, mate. Great career.
Thanks, mate.
And I'm sure there's a million more great things to happen ahead. And thanks for coming on today and giving me your time. Absolute pleasure, Tony.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Stay in touch and we catch up soon.
Yeah, we'll be out on that golf course soon enough. Don't worry about that.
Fingers crossed.
Cheers. Hi, guys. Michael McPherson here. To celebrate having Tony Bellew on the MHM Social, I'm going to give away a special piece of signed Tony Bellew merchandise. To have a chance of winning, subscribe to the MHM Social YouTube channel, like and comment on the Tony Bellew post, and 7 days after that post goes live, I'll select a winner. Good luck, guys, and as always, thank you so much for listening.